Hi, my name's Amanda, and this is my partner Kyle.
How's it going?
And we're movement coaches from the ReAlignment Lab. I've been a massage technician at the Scandinave Spa Whistler since 2016, but it was after I met Kyle that I combined my passion for healing the body with fitness and personal training. I felt like I was noticing that a lot of my clients who had chronic pain, not just from tissue tightness, but from a combination of weak and overused muscles. In today's society, we spend long periods of time sitting, whether that's at a desk, commuting in the car to work, on the couch, at the dining table, even on a bike. And it's in that forward position for long periods of time that we can start to develop posture dysfunctions. Two really common ones that we see a lot of the time is what we call upper cross syndrome. So here's Kyle's kind of demonstrating. So it's kind of like that slouched position, the chest collapses in, which results in tight pecs. You can see the head kind of juts forward, which can create a lot of upper back tension and neck pain. The other common posture dysfunction that we notice a lot is lower cross syndrome. So what happens is the hip flexors and the quad muscles get super tight that they actually pull the pelvis forward into an anterior position. Apart from getting chronic low back pain here, it actually encourages the body to have weak glute and core muscles, which doesn't help protect our back during every other activity that we're doing during the day. So today we've designed 5 exercises specifically targeted to work the areas of the body that tend to be underactive or just not working enough. So it's going to be a short, low impact workout that you can do anywhere, anytime, no equipment is needed. We're going to do 45 seconds of work with a 15-second rest for 4 rounds. And hopefully by the end of each round, you're noticing a nice warm or burning sensation in the muscle, because that means we've been working it. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with glute bridge. So the glute bridge is a really awesome exercise to fire the glutes and the core muscles. So I'm going to demonstrate a little bit about how we're going to do it, and then we'll put the timer on and get started. So what you want to do is lay down on your back, make sure your heels are underneath your knees, have them quite close to your bum. If your heels are too far away, you can end up working more in the hamstrings, which can be okay, but today specifically we're after more of our glutes. So what we're going to do first, and the most important part of this movement, is tucking the pelvis. So you're going to draw the belly up and in, tuck the pelvis. Once that's set, then you're going to push through your heels to lift up, and we're going to hold the bridge for 45 seconds. So let's put the timer on. Okay, so listening for the timer. All right, so tucking the pelvis, push through the heels and hold. Now in this position, if you can, I want you to have a quick look at your pelvis. Try to make sure that you're even on both sides. Sometimes one of our glutes can be tighter or stronger than the other. So really making sure you're nice and level here. Still have the core engaged and you're squeezing your bum as hard as you can. See how we've got Kyle's heels and knees in line, and basically just trying to hold the pelvis up for as long as you can. We've got about 15 more seconds here. Really make sure you've got your upper back and neck relaxed. Sometimes we try to steal some tension from the upper body to help. It's really important that we keep most of the work through the pelvis here. All right, so nice and slowly coming down. So we've got a 15-second rest, and then we're going to go for 3 more times. How's that feeling?
Woo, you feel it.
First time, let's go again.
That
okay.
warm burning sensation you mentioned.
So bring the heels in a little bit closer. So again, tuck the pelvis first, then really push through the heels to lift your bum as high as you can. So you're really trying to squeeze your bum cheeks together as hard as you can. Remember, that's where a lot of the work should be going. Core is on to stabilize. Don't let the knees collapse in. You want to keep them out. So again, keeping our joints nice and stacked. So knees are over your heels. Again, keeping your upper back and your neck relaxed. Try not to be tensing up through the neck there. And we've got 15 more seconds here. Really important to keep trying to breathe, not holding your breath here. And hopefully you're noticing by now a nice, strong burning sensation in your glutes.
Yep.
So come on down. Cool. So that's 2 sets down, and we've got 2 more to go. So again, just making sure every single rep you're setting up, going through all the moves. So tuck the pelvis, make sure the heels are underneath the knees, driving the pelvis up by pushing through the heels. Just making sure that your feet are connected with the ground at all times. Sometimes our toes might come up or our arches come off the mat as well. Really keeping the foot connected to the ground for stability, protecting the ankle joints. Nice, strong, stacked. Knees over the heels. Pelvis is nice and high. And we just hang out for a little bit. You've got 15 more seconds. Kyle's going biking after this, so this is a really nice way to warm up the body. Mm-hmm. So 5 more seconds. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. And nice and slow, steady coming back down to the mat. So we'll have another quick rest, and then we're going to go into our glute bridge for one more time. Does it feel good on both sides?
Yeah.
You feel even amount of burning?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So getting set, so tuck the pelvis, make sure your lower back's pressing into the mat, driving through the heels to lift your bum as high as you can. Kyle's sliding his shoulder blades underneath his back just to make sure the neck and the upper back aren't helping out here. Keep the bum nice and high. Again, making sure your pelvis is even. Don't want to have one hip higher than the other. Toes stay connected, foot is planted firmly on the ground, and looking at that nice strong stability between the knee and the ankle. We're always trying to protect the joints at all times here. You've got 15 more seconds, so keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. But anytime you feel any sharp pain through your hip or your back, I want you to come back down to the mat and reset. It's better to reset 50, 100 times than to force the movement or the exercise into the wrong parts of the muscles, okay? So come on down. Woo! All right, so glute bridge is done. So now we're going to go into what we call bird dog. So bird dog is a really good movement for core stabilization, spine stability, but also coordinating upper and lower body movements. So you're going to start in a strong, what we call tabletop position. So you want to make sure your wrists, elbows, and shoulders are in line. Again, making sure knee and hips in line. So nice, strong table position here. Now, the most common fault that we notice with this movement as people go to lift their leg, the back arches. We never want to see that, okay? That's how we're going to start to put shearing force through the lower spine, and we don't want that. So the most important part of the movement is to suck the belly up and in, tilt the pelvis slightly. So now you can notice it's a nice, strong, flat back. Hold that position, and then we're going to lift up the right leg first. Squeeze the glute. When you feel stable in that position, then you're going to add the left arm. Nice. Trying to stabilize here. Cool. And then come down nice and slow and controlled, and then we'll go to the opposite side. So let's pop the timer on and get started. So this movement can be quite hard. If you want to just practice doing the lower legs first, and then when you feel more stable, add the arms, by all means you can do that. So really suck the belly up and in first. As the heel goes back, squeezing the glute. See how he's come up a little bit too high, and we can notice the back arching. Bring the heel down slightly. The heel comes higher than the pelvis here. The back starts to arch. Then let's add the left arm, and then slowly come back down to the mat and reset. So pull your belly up and in. Make sure your back is nice and flat. Left leg goes back here, hold. Squeezing the left glute, and then you're going to add the right arm and then hold. Nice. And then come back down to the mat, and we're going to repeat on the other side. We've got 10 seconds here. Nice. Perfect. And then come down. So always try to do an even amount, even if the bell's gone. We don't want you to be one stronger on one side than the other. Nice. And then come back down. Cool. So quick rest, and then we're going to get started again in 5 seconds. Woo. Bit of brain work this morning as well, trying to coordinate left to right, lower to upper body. So again, start in your strong tabletop position. Make sure your belly's up and in. Lift up the back leg. Again, try not to let the back arch too much. Perfect. Come down. So just try to have your feet come off a couple of inches, not too high, okay? So left foot goes back. Again, see, notice how he's not arching now. He hasn't brought the leg up too high. And then come back down. So pull the belly up and in. Right foot goes back. Squeeze the right glute, hold. And then add the left arm. And then together bring them back to the mat. You've got time for one more rep. Nice. So belly up and in, hold. And then come back. You might notice that one side you're stronger, one side might be a little bit weaker. Obviously, we're always aiming for equal on both sides, so just take note of things. Nobody's perfect. Some areas are going to be tighter or weaker depending on what you do for your job or any kind of injuries you've had. So just noticing things and doing your best, okay? So tabletop position, suck your belly up and in. Then when you feel stable, right leg goes back, squeeze the right glute, hold, and then slowly come back down. Belly comes up, hold the belly there, squeeze the left glute, then add the right arm. Nice. And then come back down together. Suck your belly up and in. Right foot goes back, squeezing the right glute, hold. There we go. Nice. And come back in. Suck your belly up and in. Left foot goes back, squeeze the left glute, add the right arm, hold, and then slowly come back together. Nice, honey. How's this one?
Good.
Tiring. Whew. Okay, so we've got one more time. So again, just making sure you're strong in a nice tabletop position. Wrists might be getting a little bit sore, so really trying to shake your hands out. Let's set up again for our last time. So belly up and in first. Right foot goes back, squeeze the right glute, hold there, and then add the left arm. Slow and steady come back to the mat. And again, pull the belly up and in and hold. Left foot goes back, squeezing the left glute, add the right arm, hold. Slow and steady come back to the mat. We'll have time for two more. So belly up and in, right foot goes back. Try to make sure this is all set before you add the arm. If you're not set through the core, you can lose a lot of the stability once you add the limbs to it. Nice. Okay, and coming back down to the mat. Nice work. Have a quick rest there. Whew, I'm tired just watching you do it. Okay, cool. So next movement I want to do is called the Swan hold. Especially as we mentioned in the beginning, when we're sitting for long periods of time, we can get really stuck and really tight. So the more that we can strengthen our back can help us create better posture for the rest of the day. So laying down on your belly. So have your hands back behind you with your palms facing up. So what you want to do first is create a little bit of tension through the glutes and the core just to protect the lower back. Then you're going to slowly lift the chest just a couple of inches on the floor, off the floor, sorry. And then what you're trying to do is squeeze the shoulder blades together. So you see Kyle is trying to squash my fingers in between his shoulder blades. You're also trying to stack almost the arms or the shoulders on top of the back. And then we're just holding that position, okay? So have a quick rest. All right. So first thing you want to do is squeeze the bum, squeeze the glutes. Sorry, glutes and bum is the same thing. Squeeze your belly so you have some protection through the lower back, lifting the chest up and off and trying to roll the shoulders onto your back. So squeezing your shoulder blades together as much as possible. Try not to be squeezing up. You want to keep a lot of space underneath, exactly, a lot of space underneath your neck, so keep your shoulders away from your ears. You should notice a nice burning sensation through the whole upper back here. And then we're just trying to hold. You've got 10 more seconds. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. Nice, nearly there, nearly there. And then come down and rest. Woo! Okay, how's that feeling?
Good.
Good, nice. Okay, cool. So in 8 seconds, we're going to go again. So before you lift your chest off the ground, tension the glutes and the core a little bit. It just pulls the pelvis into a nice neutral position, protects the lower spine. So tension through the glutes, lift the chest slowly, a couple of inches off as you squeeze the shoulder blades together and you're trying to roll your shoulders onto your back. Again, keeping it nice and long, length underneath your ears. We're not trying to stress out the upper traps. And then we just need to hold that position. So hopefully when you're up, you're looking like a swan here. Hence why it's called a swan hold. So you've got 18 more seconds. As you start to fatigue, you'll notice that you start to collapse down towards the mat. Keep trying to squeeze as much as you can. But anytime you notice that you're feeling tension or pain through the lower back here, try lowering the chest down to the mat a little bit more. If we pull too much up through the chest, we can cause cramps to occur through the lower back there. Nice, honey. So you've got 10 seconds and then we've got 2 more. Hopefully you guys are feeling nice and tired at home. All right, so getting set up. So tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, lift the chest up, squeezing the shoulder blades together as hard as you can, and trying to really roll the shoulders onto your back as much as possible. Keep the neck nice and long. Try not to be looking up or looking down too much. You want your neck to be in neutral with the rest of your spine, so nice long spine here. You can see Carl's shaking a little bit, so he's getting tired, which is great. Again, if you feel your back hurting at all, just come down a little bit lower. As we mentioned in the beginning, if you're ever feeling anything that's uncomfortable or painful, reset and then come back up and go again. It's better to reset than to put the work into the wrong areas of your body, okay? You've got 5 seconds here, so keep holding, keep holding. You're nearly there. And go down and rest. Okay, cool. Nice work, honey. So we've got one more rep to go here. So hopefully you're getting a nice burning, warm sensation through your back here. When you come up into your swan, you should feel a nice open chest as if your collarbones are being pulled apart, which is fantastic. So tension through the glutes and the core. Lift the chest a couple of inches off the mat, squeezing the shoulder blades together, rolling the shoulders onto the back so you have that really nice open chest. Neck is nice and long. Shoulders aren't anywhere near your ears. And just holding here for as long as you can. Nice work, honey. You've got 25 more seconds, so keep holding, keep holding. The longer we can stay in the muscle burning phase of a movement, that's where we get a lot of our growth from. So we call that the yuck zone. So the longer you can stay here, the more the movement's going to help you get stronger in the long run, which is our whole goal here today, okay? Couple more seconds, so keep holding. Nice, and then come on down. All right, so our next movement is going to be a split squat in a lunge position. So we'll get Carl to set up and then we'll put the timer on and get into it. So we'll start with our left foot forward. We're going to do 3 rounds on the left and then 3 rounds on the right for a total of 6 rounds, okay? So the most common mistake that we notice with the lunge is that people tend to have their feet quite close together as if they're on a tightrope. You really want to make sure you have your feet hip width apart. Even if you're working out on an exercise mat, kind of having your feet nearly as wide as the mat is generally a good place to start with. And then Carl, just come down into a bit of a lunge so we can show everyone where they should be. So what you want to do is make sure that your hip and knee are in line. And same with the forward knee as well. You never want your knee to come out over your toe. That can start to cause pressure and tension to build up through the knees. So if you ever get pain when you're doing a lunge, check your position. It could be because the knee is too far out and forward. And then the biggest thing you want to do is come up again, is you want to tuck the pelvis slightly. So take it out of that anterior shape, put it back into neutral so you're engaging your belly and your glutes. And then you're going to lower down into your lunge and then push through your front heel to come up. And then you're going to go back down. Okay? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Carl's ready. All right, cool. Let's get our timer going. Okay, cool. So have your left foot forward, have your feet hip width apart. Most of your body weight should be on your front foot. Make sure your big toe's down and you're really driving through the heel of the front foot, okay? So to have the pelvis tucked so there's tension through the glutes and the core. And then again, making sure that your front knee isn't coming out over your toe. And every single time you come up, push your heel and squeeze the glute on the left side. You've got 15 more seconds here. So the back leg is mostly just stabilizing. A lot of the work is being done on the front leg. A lot of us tend to be quad dominant, so really trying to make sure that you're squeezing the glute on the left side when you've got your left foot forward. Nice. Okay, cool. Quick rest there. We'll swap over, so we'll go left to right, left to right, left to right. So right foot forward. So again, set your feet up so you're not on a tightrope, that you have a nice distance for stability. Tuck your pelvis before you start to lower down. Nice. Chest is up. Don't let your back knee touch the ground. You kind of want to keep it hovered a couple of inches off your mat. Sometimes I feel like when your knee touches the mat, it causes the muscles to turn off, thinks you're done, you're having a rest. So keep your knee hovered above the ground. Again, keep your whole foot down on the front. Make sure the knee's not coming out over the toe. And this time, as we're on the right side, really driving through the right heel and squeezing the right glute as hard as you can. Nice. So we've got about 10 seconds left, so keep going. Again, if you ever notice that your knees are getting sore, just check your body position. Are you too far forward Whenever you come into the bottom of the lunge, you should still be able to see the top of your toe. Nice work. Okay, so we'll go back to the left side now, setting up. How's the glutes feeling?
Good, they're working.
Good, that's what we want. Okay, cool. So left foot forward. So again, set your feet up, hip width apart. Make sure you're not on that tightrope. Make sure your feet are pointing straight ahead. Tuck your pelvis so your core and your glutes are engaged before you've even descended into your lunge. Nice. And see how Kyle's really checking his position even while he's still working. So making sure the front knee isn't coming out over the toe. Try to keep your big toes down. Sometimes their feet will lift up a little bit as they're kind of unstable. This movement is specifically designed for challenging your stability, but also working your glutes and your core. Looks great. So you've got 15 seconds left. So really driving through the front heel, squeezing the glute on the front leg. Chest is still up, belly's engaged. And just moving nice and slow and steady. Nice, so go for one more. Oh, no, okay, no more. We'll come back to that.
Rip,
this guy not even listening to his coach. Good one. Okay, so right foot forward this time. So again, nice setup. So have your feet quite wide. Don't have them too narrow. So tuck the pelvis as you come down, really pushing through the heel of the front leg. This time it's the right foot. So really squeezing the right glute. Nice. And again, just making sure your joints are stacked. Are my knees above my ankles? Is my chest coming too far forward? Am I coming too far over my front foot? Constantly always checking on your checkpoints just to make sure the body is moving as best and as safe as possible. Looks pretty good. You've done this before.
Yeah, I've got a good coach.
Yeah, now you're trying to make it up to me. Okay, so you've got 10 more seconds. So see how Kyle's knee isn't quite touching the mat. He's just getting down low but hovering still. So you're really still keeping the body loaded. And again, big toe stays down. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool. So back to the left side. Last time through. So hopefully by now you're starting to get quite tired and your bum is burning, which is great because that means we're working the glutes. So setting up again, make sure your feet aren't too close together, hip width apart, tuck the pelvis, chest stays up as you descend down. And again, as you can see, his knee's not coming out over his toe. He's just traveling up and down directly. He's not shifting forward, not shifting back. The movement is just straight up and down. Pushing through the front heel, squeezing the glute on the left side. Making sure the back knee's not touching the mat at all. Chest is still up, which means the belly's engaged and the glutes are hopefully doing all the work here. Nice, so we've got 12 more seconds left, so try to get 3 more reps in. Nice. How's the glutes feeling?
They're burning.
Good. Good. Okay. All right, cool. Swapping over, so we've got the last round through. So right foot forward this time. So again, setting everything up so that your feet aren't too close together. You don't want to be on that tightrope. If you're ever stepping back and feel like it's really unstable, just try widening your stance to give yourself more support there. Okay, cool. So tuck the pelvis, chest stays up, descending down, but don't let the knee touching the mat. Big toe stays down, but you're wanting to have your body weight through the front of the ankle, driving through the heel. And again, making sure that the front knee is not coming out over the toes at all. Yeah, we don't want to be shearing on the knee at all. So pushing through the heel, but squeezing the glute on the right side. Nice. I always like to slow the movements down. Sometimes if we move too quickly, we can really miss the intensity of the burn. But when you slow down a movement, you're keeping your body in that working position for longer. So we call that time under tension. So the longer the muscle's having to work, the slower it's having to work, the more strength you're going to build. Nice work. Okay, cool. All right, so our next movement's going to be our plank. So I'll get Kyle to come down on the mat. We've got 2 versions that I want to show you. The plank, even though it's determined as a beginner exercise, to do it properly, to do it safely, requires quite a lot of upper body stability and strength. So I want to show you a modified version first and then show you the full version. So starting in that tabletop position like we did earlier, making sure shoulders, elbows, and wrists are in line, and again, hips are over knees. Make sure there's a little bit of tension in the belly so that the pelvis and the lower back isn't sagging. Make sure it's a nice, strong, straight, flat back. Kyle's going to move his hands about 2 lengths forward, and then he's going to shift his body weight forward as well so that his hips are now in front of the knees. So this would be the modified version of the plank. So what you'd want to do is, at the moment, people tend to let their sort of bum stick out and their belly flop. So pull the belly up and in, creating a really nice, strong, straight, flat back. Glutes are engaged, belly's engaged, and then that's what we're going to hold, okay? The full version will be on your toes, so I'll get Kyle to come on up. So see how he's sagging just a little bit? Exactly. You want to kind of have a little bit of tension through the glutes still, but have the belly up, not sagging towards the floor, so that hopefully you're creating a really long straight line from heel to spine. And then just come down onto your knees. I want to quickly just talk about a technique that we call screwing in with our hands, or creating rotational torque. A lot of people find that they get sore wrists whenever they're doing any work on their hands. Generally, that could be happening because if you're at a computer a lot, your wrists can get quite fatigued in that position. But also, if we're just dumping into our joints, specifically our wrist joints where there's a lot of nerves, it can cause a lot of impingement. So there's a technique called creating rotational torque, or screwing the hands in. And basically what you're doing is you're switching on all the muscles through the upper arm and shoulder, so the body's not dumping into the joints and then compressing onto the nerves. So what you want to imagine is the bottom part of your palm is rotating anti-clockwise, or I guess opposite direction to each other. Screw the hands in and then use the finger pads to almost grip into the mat. And then what you'll notice is the pit of the elbow starts to come forward. Exactly. And then hopefully you'll see that all Kyle's arm muscles pop out because they're doing the work instead of just sitting into the joints or creating lockout through the elbow joints in particular. So that's what we're going to focus on as well with our plank. So let's get started. Put the timer on. So we'll start in the full plank and then we'll do the modified plank on the next rep as well. All right. So screw the hands into the mat as hard as you can. Tuck the pelvis so the belly's engaged, glutes are on. And then we're just trying to hold here. Hopefully you can see how Kyle's arms are shaking. It's because he's actively supporting his body weight instead of just sitting into the joints. The shoulders aren't anywhere near the ears here, so he's got his neck nice and open and long. Belly's engaged, glutes are engaged, so he's creating a really strong straight line as we mentioned. Pelvis is up and in and nice and neutral, and the core is working really hard to support the body here. So you've got 10 more seconds. But anytime you get tired, drop a knee, come into the modified version or take a rest. Again, we always want to put the work into the right areas of the body, never straining through the neck or the lower back. Nice. How was that?
Tough.
Tough. Okay, good. All right, so we'll go into the modified version next for the next round. So still the same setup. So screw the hands into the mat, use your finger pads, dig into the mat as much as you can. Bring your body weight forward so that your hips are in front of the knees. But again, still tuck the pelvis, suck the belly up and in and hold, squeezing the glutes as hard as you can. And in this position can still be quite challenging, especially if you've had some time off, haven't done any regular exercise for a while. And hopefully, again, you can see that the pit of his elbow is coming forward. So the hands are screwing in, protecting the shoulder joint, protecting the elbow and the wrist, and also keeping a nice amount of space underneath the ears here so the neck and everything else isn't tensing up there. Nice. So you've got 7 more seconds here, so keep holding, keep holding. Again, noticing that Kyle hasn't let go of his glutes the whole time. The more that the glutes and the core can work together, the easier the planks will get over the long term. All right, so 2 more rounds. Want to go back to the full version?
Yeah.
Yes. So setting up, so have the hands out in front of you, shoulders, elbows, wrists are in line. Screw the hands in. So again, noticing that the elbow joint's not locking out. Slight bend in the elbow so the triceps are engaged. You can even notice the whites of his fingers as he's really trying to use every part of his hand to support his body weight. Pelvis is up, glutes are on, belly's engaged, so it's not hanging out towards the mat, and creating a really strong straight line from the neck all the way down to the heels. And we basically just need to hang out here for another 15 seconds. So again, if you want to start in the full version, as you start to fatigue through the rounds, you can always then come down into modified version. Again, you just want to make sure you're really feeling all the work through your core, so your belly and your glutes, and hopefully you're shaking as much as Kyle is as well, which is great. Woo! Okay.
Screw on those hands in.
As hard as you can. Okay, so one more time. One more time through, guys. So get set up and ready to go. So screw the hands in. Again, make sure the elbows, wrists, and shoulders are in line. Tuck your belly up and in so you've got a nice, strong, straight back. Glutes are on as hard as you can. Nice. So notice that Kyle's body weight is over his hands. What can happen too is we're not going to be in a downward dog sort of position where the hands are above. You want to make sure your body weight is sitting out over your hands, because the plank is also a transitional exercise into push-ups or bench press, all those other kind of more advanced movements. So you learn the foundations as strong as possible with the best technique you can, and that makes it easier to advance your training into more of the more complicated exercises. Nice. Couple more seconds here. Keep squeezing, keep holding. Woohoo! Nice work. And now Kyle's tired.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, great work, everyone. So we've shown you today 5 great exercises that don't require any equipment. They're all low impacts if you're ever dealing with any chronic pains or surgeries or anything like that. Basically, all you need is the size of a mat. So you could do this when you're traveling, you could do it at the office, and of course, doing it at home. The 5 exercises we chose today were targeting specifically the areas of the body that tend to be weaker or underactive, you know, being our core and our glutes specifically, and our back. I see too many people on the massage table who come in with these areas being their sore spots. So having a regular, you know, routine, it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be 5-6 days a week, and you don't even need a gym. But regularly training those areas that tend to be weaker, especially if you're sitting down a lot, can be huge to your health and longevity. We hope to see you back here at Scandinave Spa Whistler soon. We hope you enjoyed our workout and enjoy your day in alignment.